How's everybody doing out there in the post-apocalyptic coronavirus, self-contained quarantine, social distancing world out there? I'm Matt Sardo. This is Monkeys Fighting Robots, and this is the panel breakdown. And if it's the first time that you have watched one of our videos, I kind of pick out one of the books that have been sent to me, and we kind of talk about what I liked in the book. This week we're going to talk about Outlawed, #1, which was a really good book. If you're a Marvel Comics fan, and you're a fan of the youth movement of Marvel Comics, and this was a great introduction of everybody that's been going on there for me. I've read a little bit of Champions here and there. I like Miles Morales. I am a fan of Nova. Richard Rider, more Nova, but it's fine. This is fine. It's kind of like being a Green Lantern fan and your favorite's Hal Jordan, but you'll still take a Green Lantern if there's a Green Lantern in there. But yes, Outlawed #1 is out. Apparently, you can pick up comic books early. If this video gets to you early enough, you can pick up comic books on Tuesday from your local comic book store. Please support your local comic book stores. I understand we're supposed to self-quarantine and do all that crazy stuff right now, but they need money too. And they need to function, and that diamond bill comes every week. So please go pick up your stuff, or call in and pay for it online, or call in and pay for it and pick it up later. But make sure you get your money to your comic book store because they desperately need it. Okay, so what do we got going on in this one? So the writer is Eve L. Ewing. The artist is Kim Jacinto. And the colorist is Espen Grundetjern. And the letterer is Clayton Cowles. So let's just jump into this. I want to talk about this page right here, because this page is pretty amazing. The champions are on a congressional hearing right now. Everybody's divided up. Everybody, and you have the youth movement. Really, it's just bored out of our mind. But the way these panels are set up is it kind of looks like bars. So everybody's on trial, but also everybody is behind bars already. So before you even get done reading this, and by this face right here, that they're going to get convicted. You just know. There's some anger going on here. There's some boredom. There's some contempt. There's some sadness. But here, you can tell that these guys are behind bars, and these guys are getting grilled by the government, and it's not going to end well. And it's just because they've put them in these compressed panels. These up and down bars and the panels, there's constraint, there's, it's claustrophobic, and it's quality storytelling right there. And this is where Kim's artwork kind of takes another level, because she has this distraught artwork on movement. I don't know if you've ever been so angry that you've been shaken with anger, but this is what this reminds me of. Is when you've been so mad or so upset, you're kind of just shaking afterwards and so traumatized. And as a parent, these things kind of happen a little bit, where you're concerned for your kid, and you kind of you're just so amped up, your heart's there, and you're just shaking like the Flash. Because this is what it looks like. It looks like the Flash is running, and the Flash is moving here. But these are just Captain America and Nova talking angrily. And this style, this extreme angle, because you got this panel, the Captain America pointing, and you could just see it. And then Nova putting his hand down and pointing back, and there's an anger to it that there's an emotional anger to this style of drawing right here. And it really connected with me. And I don't know if it's going to translate into the video, but if you zoom in, they use a lot of dots. So Espen uses a lot of ink dots to color. So there's an old school feel to this book as well. And you can see it really well. Let's see if we can bring this up in Falcon's color right here, and then Miss Marvel, you can see it there well. And it's very subtle, the dots, the color dots, but that's what I grew up on, was these ink dots. So there's like a comforting feeling to this book as well that is like very subliminal. You're like, oh man, there's something that's reminiscent, that like reminds me of something else, but I don't really know what it is. And it's these silly dots. Because the way it texturizes and the way it like makes your brain think and pull the colors together, like, it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. I like it so much. And then the one thing I like to do now, since I've been doing these, is connecting the eyes, like where the eyes go. So you have eye here, eye here, eye here, eye here. And then you'll notice the eyes, if you connect these two eyes, go right through this speech bubble. And then this eye is looking right here at this speech bubble. So the eyes show you the story in some books and in some panels. But it's always a nice thing to check out, is to see what the artist is looking at and what the letter is looking at. And if you connect the eyes, you can sometimes see that trail. The next page in the book I'd like to talk about is the splash page. Because this page is amazing. It is bonkers. There's so much going on and so much for the eye to enjoy. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiny word balloons and not a lot of dialogue. So you're just sit here in awe and you just look at it. And then you see Miles Morales, Spider-Man, with this jagged kick. So it's like an angry kick. If you take what you learned in the first part of the book and transfer it later on, you're like, oh man, Miles is very, this is an action-packed scene, but it also has some anger, or that like he's a kid who's fighting and he's also scared, because like that scaredness kind of like shakes you, and that adrenaline kicks in. And so that's what this kick shows me. Because everybody else is pretty much stable. So after you get this awesome, crazy animated kick from Miles Morales, your brain just starts following it around. So you got a portal here, you got Riri and Nova floating over here, and you can follow their trail. And I love this dragon, dinosaur, T-Rex dragon, looks beautiful. And so you're like looking, you follow the wings around, then you see this flame of the bad guys. And then you got Ant Girl over here, or the Wasp. I apologize. And you just start following these portal lines. You see this, and it just kind of goes in a nice complete circle with everything. And I just think this splash page works really well. Doesn't say a lot, but like you see so much action, and you just keep looking at it and looking for details and everything else. And it's one of those pages that like some people might just read it and flip by, but for me, if I'm on my coffee break, or if I'm not home, this is my personal time to read comic books, I'm owning this page. I'm looking at all the different details. You got the broken buildings over here. And why are these blacked out? Why is this so blue and bright? And you just like, you got the cityscape going this way with the buildings. It's just, you're looking at your perspective of the book and how things are and how the artist wants you to look at things. And then the colors are really good in it as well. And if you look closely, there's dots here, the good dot work. There's some dot work in here as well. Like right here, you can definitely see it. And the glasses. But then you notice that, like, the wasp grew as well, so she was tiny, now she's big. This guy tosses a portal here, these guys are falling out here. Like, your brain, like, it's like a hidden puzzle in this page. And it's really good. So I want to compliment Kim and Espen and Clayton on a very beautiful splash page. Overall, I thought Outlawed #1 was a good book. I think it's setting up a new status quo for the teenaged heroes, which is cool because I remember how much I enjoyed reading Spider-Man as a kid and the younger superheroes. So for the next generation to have like a moment in time where these are their characters and they get to own them and see them evolve to the next level, I think is really important for new readers and just readers in general. Like, I could get sucked into this world because I know that this is an important book that's going to have ramifications for all these characters moving forward. And that's where you want to be. Like, you want to be reading a book where you're like, oh shit, I remember when. And this is one of those books. It's an I remember when book. It just happened now, but like 5 years ago, I remember when Outlaw #1 came out and it changed everything that was going on. Same way we look at Civil War. I remember when I read Civil War and I was like, whoa, this is one of those books. It's an I remember when book. So go out, check out Outlawed #1. Come back here, watch the panel breakdown. Give me your thoughts. Give me a thumbs up and comments. If you see this on Twitter, like it or retweet, or if you're on Facebook, comment there and give me a thumbs up. I'm Matt Sardo. This is Monkeys Fighting Robots, and you just watched the panel breakdown. Wash your hands, I guess, and stay safe, guys.